What's up, everybody? It's your boy Who's Sue 74, back with another One Piece chapter review, and we back in the Bat Cave. You feel me? Got a new edition. This ain't a new edition. I just moved it to my room. Built it from scratch. Lego Captain America. Lego Falcon Captain America. You got the little laser beak on them and everything. So it's pretty sweet. I like this thing. Little laser beak. You could take it off. And for those of y'all who ain't got to see it yet, let me show y'all the magic that is. Yeah. Um, the Kaido limited edition, GameStop edition, Funko Pop. Oh, it's crazy how One Piece was not my favorite anime starting off while Naruto was out, but since Naruto's been gone and I've been getting into this YouTube stuff, One Piece has been guiding my light. I've been more of a fan and everything. As you see, I got this Funko Pop, you feel me? I got two One Piece Funko Pops so far. More coming. All I do is One Piece reviews until I start getting into something else, you feel me? I wish I would have been doing this shit while Naruto was out. 'Cause I was a Naruto fucking whiz. Maybe I should start reviewing Boruto. The Boruto don't come out that often. All right. So, based on the spoilers we got, we know this should be our not the end of the flashback in general, but the end of the Gods Valley portion of the flashback. We're gonna get into that during this chapter. We seen Rocks and Garp put they full hockey, you feel me? All they hockey they got left until they final attacks to try to take Rocks down. We're gonna find out if it worked or not. Everybody online speculating about this all full mass stuff, or they're putting their lifespan into it. That's the reason why Rogers was sick and dying. Him and Gart did it now, but maybe Rogers did it multiple more times throughout his journey, and he got the sickness and the full mass. Y'all taking too much out the fucking word, out the term full mass. When he said full mass, y'all let that shit go to y'all head and y'all just ran with it. He wasn't saying shit but full mass, as in we got to put all of our energy into this attack. That's what he meant by full mass. All of our hockey, let's gather all of our hockey in this one attack and let it out. And Garp even said, once we do that, we're going to be completely spent because we're not going to have any energy left to do anything. That's all full mass went. That's all full mass meant. I mean, that's all it meant. That's all it meant. I'm sorry, but all these motherfuckers like O'Hara, Sawyer, whatever they name is, you feel me? I love them, but y'all be too fucking going over the top with these theories sometimes, bro. All the man did was say full mass when he did an attack. After he said, let's put all of our energy into it, and y'all just went off the fucking rails with speculations, bro. That's the only thing that blows me about the One Piece community, bro. Like I love theories and everything, don't get me wrong, and exploring. But y'all act like just because it's One Piece and just because it's manga, that it's okay to come up with these over the top ass theories that don't make sense at all. Again, O'Hara. That guy makes videos. Every time he on the video, I can't stand seeing him talk about the goddamn it abyss powers because he always got this crazy ass theory in his head that it'll be great for the now it can be a theory but a theory that it would be great for the story to have the straw hat pirates pick up the abyss powers, the same powers of the world evil that the story has been showing us it's about conquering. You think it'll be great for the story for the Straw Hats to pick up that power. All right, come on now. Like, stop talking sometimes, bro. Like y'all just, oh well, I know that sounds over the top, but it's One Piece and one. No, in One Piece, anything can't happen. Anything can't happen. Not even in One Piece. I'm sorry. So let's get into it. I don't care about these cover spreads. We getting all these dumbass fan requests. Yeah, whatever's going on here, who cares? All right, let's flame up so we can start off the chapter. Now, remember, I said it last video. In the video before that, I said that Garp and Rogers are gonna fight Rocks. They're gonna fight him until the brink of everything, until they're gonna free him from the Domi Reversi effect. Is my speculation. They're gonna free him from the Domi Reversi effect. What they attack is not gonna kill him because he a D clan. Maybe he's something about the Davy clan. He gonna have a good lifespan, kind of like the Uzumaki clan when the Jinchuriki got ripped out of him. He gonna still be alive. And right as everybody think it's gonna be a happy ending and they gonna all leave the island together, Gart gonna Fagel and Garden gonna get up and get his get back. He gonna get up and slime Rocks out. He's gonna be the one to kill him. That's how we gonna get the title champion of God's Valley. We gonna see if this true. Hit blunt. I've been speculating this ever since I found out that Emu was showing up to God's Valley. I've been speculating this the whole time because I knew that Gart and Roger still had to end up fighting Rocks, and I knew that Garland still had a final role to play for him to be hailed as the champion of God's Valley. Once I think that the tournament got interrupted, but yet he still attained that title. We're gonna see if I'm right. So we start off with Hit Blunt. It says the aftermath of the battle. We got Rocks laying on the ground, and we have Gart and Rogers just out of it in the background also. And we see Rocks having inner dialogue. He said, "Did they really?" He said, "Did they really break the curse?" And it looks like Rocks is back to normal. So yeah, they broke the curse. I was right in that one. First strike for me. Hit Blunt. So they broke the curse, but they knocked out. And then Rox is saying, did they really break the curse? And he's saying, come on, stay alive. This island is. And he looks up and he see the holy knights approaching him. We got Saint Figgle and Garland. We got Summers and Saint Corella Deville. And then we got Rock still talking, but he's talking about Garp and Rogers. He's saying, damn it, it's too late. Roger, Garp, run. You can't die here. And then we get a glimpse, a zoom in of the Holy Knights. I want y'all to see this because Saint Figgle and Garland is a fucking fraud, bro. Look at the look on this man's face. Him and Summers, they know they both got slammed out this whole flashback. You feel me? This whole incident, they know they got made embarrassments of. And he just fiending. Look at his face. Look at Garland's face, bro. He fiending. He just gotta be the one to lift the sword up and stab it into him. Tell me something I wanted to then Rox is saying, Rox said, oh yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to say. Thanks for stopping. As the sword drives into him and he's killed. So we see Caban and Rayleigh running. It looked like they went back. They ended up getting Gart and Rogers. So W Shanks and W Rayleigh and Gabon, they went back for Gart and Rogers. And one of them is saying How's Rocks, and I think it's Rayleigh saying How's Rocks, because Gabon says you're worrying about the enemy, and then Gart says I'm your enemy too. Roger says Rayleigh, tell me what happened to Rocks. So that was Gart asking about Rocks. And Rayleigh lets them know he was killed. So even unconscious, Gart and Rogers really wanted to save Rock so bad that they just worried about him, bro. They want to know like what was the results, bro? Did we do it? Did we save him? So I knew Rocks was gonna have a sad going out. It ain't as sad as I thought it was gonna be. But yeah, I got that theory all the way right. You feel me? I knew that nigga Saint Figgling Garland was gonna get up on some bitch shit at the end when everything was already over. Trying to get some get back. But my thing about it is I wanna know what happened. How did he die? But y'all was able to get them to. Is that when Gabon slammed out Summers off screen? Maybe that was the interaction that had Summers so spooked of Gabon in the present. You feel me? Because somewhere down the line, y'all had got them and got away. And it was three guys, Knights member right there. So y'all didn't just get them and get up out of there without some type of struggle. And for those who don't know how we got here, of course, last time we seen Rayleigh and Gabon, they were fleeing to the ship and Rayleigh had Shockey. Well, obviously they made it to the ship, set Shockey down, made sure the crew was straight, and said we're going back for our captain. All right. So we see some dialogue of the outer scope of the island. The island is literally collapsing and going into water. It's collapsing unto itself. It says, hurry, the island's collapsing. Don't let the pirates escape. Roger's ship is on the move. Fire. So the Marines are still being bitches trying to, you feel me? Like, man, these guys are just like it's the basic Marine soldiers for me, bro. Y'all that blind in duty. You feel me? Everything that went on this island. I know a lot of y'all seen Saturn Emu transform and start killing your fellow soldiers while calling them insects. I know some of y'all survived, see and seen that. You feel me? And this is oh my god. So it says this event will leave no mark on the pages of history. The crumbling island was swallowed by the waves and consumed by fog. As we see images of Rogers and Gart bandaged up, laid out, unconscious, we see Gloriosa, Newgates, and Dragon just staring off into space as well as Kaido in his dragon form. That's not Gloriosa, I'm sorry, that's Linlan. We see an unconscious Kuma with Ivankov and fucking Bonnie's mama, whatever her name was. And then we see a young Teach also in his mom's arm crying. Okay? So let's finish this dialogue. It says the crumbling island was swallowed by the waves and consumed by the fog. Like curtains closing on the grand stage. That was the essence of the God's Valley incident. It says the silence in the incident was wake lasted only a moment. before a massive bolt of lightning split the heavens, and with that the curtains rose for a new tale to unfold. All right. So we cutting over to the Roger ship, and then somebody says, "Hold it in. Just wait till Roger's up." Come on, Captain. I'm dying to open up this treasure chest. So they fighting on the ship because they want to open up the treasure chest they got. But other people saying, "Wait till Rogers wake up." So we see Roger finally gets up, all bandaged up, saying sorry to worry you guys. And we see Gloriosa in the background. So Gloriosa escaped the island on Roger's ship. It looks like she was in the room that he was in while he was unconscious. She gave him some sucky sucky to wake him up. I could just imagine that thing she did with his unconscious body. And then one of the crew members said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, we're thrilled. More importantly, check it out." Roger says, "Don't you care about me at all?" They said Shaki's safe and sound as we see her all booed up with Rayleigh. And they follow up by saying, "And we scored a ton of treasure to boot." Roger says, "What a great haul." And then they hear noise as Rogers looks up and says, "Huh?" And we hear goo goo gaga. And then one of the guys says, what the, it's coming from the chest. There's something in there. Open it carefully. And we see Roger opening the chest. As they open it up, they all go, "Huh?" And they looking down. We got this image in that One Piece movie, but I think Rogers had a beard. I don't know. As they discover a baby Shanks in the chest. So I'm curious to know, how did they know his name was Shanks? Because his mama had already named him Shanks. We know his name was already Shanks. His mama named him that. So my thing is, did he have a name tag? Did he have, you feel me? Was it on his clothes? You feel me? How did they know to continue the name Shanks for this baby? All right, so switching over to wherever this is, I think this is where the news is printed at. We're gonna switch and let y'all get the view with me again. It says the Rock's Pirates wiped out. Predictably, new coverage was falsified. It says predictably, news coverage was falsified. Only one aspect of the story was highlighted: the heroism of Garth. It says here that the Rock's pirates have been vanquished. Rox is dead. I knew it. Vice Admiral Garth is the strongest. Garth's a hero. So then we cut over to Navy HQ, to the Grand Line Navy HQ, and we see somebody screaming, "What the hell is this article?" As we cut over and we see Gart in rage tearing up the newspaper, trashing the room while he's still in the hospital with bandages on. Somebody says, "Vice Admiral Gart." Gart says, "I can't wait to get my hands on that Morgan's fella." And then whoever this is says, "Relax, Gart. He only wrote that stuff because the government paid him off." Oh, that's Sengoku. And then Sengoku says the world government and the Marines are a massive organization. If you count the member if you count the member nations, armies were taking out tens of millions of soldiers worldwide. It's impossible to account for everyone's action and motivations. So if the top brass ever do strike me as insane, I simply turn a blind eye to it. Let's read this again. Because Garp is like, "Excuse me?" You feel me, on bro? Sengoku a bitch. He says the world government and the Marines are massive organizations. if you count the member nations' armies, we're talking about tens of million soldiers worldwide. It's impossible to account for everyone's actions and motivations. So if the top brass ever do strike me as insane, I simply turn a blind eye to it. So he telling Garp to just ignore everything he found out. Garp saying, "Come again," and they start fighting. Sengoku says, "It's just like I said. You're just another." Oh no, Garp says, "It's just like I said. You're just another promotion chasing fool." And Sengoku says, "Shut up. What good can you do barking from the bottom of the cliff?" Sengoku, you got to damn near, you feel me? You got to a good spot and still didn't do anything. So what the fuck do you mean? What good is it barking from the bottom of the cliff? You got the fleet art admiral and realize you was still nothing but a fucking dog. You spent your whole life in the Marines, your whole career in the Marines, trying to get a rank up to not be able to do anything at all but fall in line like the dog you are. And now you got this sense of freedom now that you're retired. But what did you do by climbing up from the bottom of the cliff? Nothing. Garp says, if you ever stray and get corrupted, I'll kill you myself. And then Sengoku says, how reassuring. I guess that's what friends are for. And Sengoku says, so you're not quitting then, Garp? Garp says, idiot. There are still things at the bottom of the cliff that needs a guard dog. So we all knew, you feel me? We didn't need this to figure that out that Garp's still in the Marines because you feel me? He trying to do some shit for the low ball soldiers like Dragon, who was there on that island and didn't even know what they were there for. But shout out to Dragon for being the only one to see what was going on and use his own eyes and heart and question like, what are we doing? Versus all the other motherfuckers, all the other Sengokus who was just like, oh, let me just keep following orders. Let me just keep following orders. And that's why Kobe was so important to Garp. Because once he's gone, Kobe's going to be the one to keep up the same. So then we cut over to Elbath. We see somebody screaming, why? They're all screaming, you again. I ain't letting you on my ship. So Loki is having flashbacks as he's crying. He's remembering Rocks. I guess he got the news. Rocks is telling Loki, how many times do I gotta tell you, Pipsqueak? You think I want a brat on my crew? What is this? The guy I want ain't giving me the time of day, but his snot-nosed brat won't leave me alone. We see Loki saying, hey, Rox, I think you're Nika. Rox says, Nika, the warrior of liberation who would destroy the world while laughing. Rox says, destroy it? I'm aiming to be king of the world. Besides, if anyone's got that sort of power, it's Harold. So now I really think that that fruit that he wanted Harold to eat was the Nika fruit. Or whatever fruit Loki got, because Loki got the fruit that his daddy had that he thinks makes him the destroyer Nico. And Loki says, huh? Rock says, listen up, Loki. Somewhere out there, the Galera are slumbering. They're an outrageous brand of Ravagers, the Galera. So those giants, Rock knows that they're just asleep, they're slumbering, they're frozen, they're not dead. The Galera, they're not dead, they're slumbering. Roxas confirmed that because they have been gone for years already by this time in this flashback. So in the present day, you can't convince me that they not just still slumbering. But he says, they're an outrageous brand of Ravagers. And the only one who could put them back into play is your pops. I'm gonna continue to rally the rogues of the world. So just imagine if Harold and I team up. Who could possibly stop us then? Loki says, wow, that's awesome. And then Loki asks Rox says, so why aren't you and Pops already allies already? And then Rock says because of love. Rock says, but I'm gonna come back again and again and again. I don't care if it takes 100 or 200 times. So we see Loki reading the newspaper back in the present time of the flashback. Kid Loki, after Rock's death, and he's screaming, going through those memories, and we see. And then we cut over. I don't know where we are, but it says it's a vicious assault. King Harold of Elbaf is on a certain island. Have any civilians been harmed? And they say no. He attacked another giant, some thug. It's quite brutal. It's quite a brutal scene. So Harold is somewhere on some island beating the hell out some rogue giant. Harold's beating the giant down, and he says, you still don't get it. He says, I understand. Really, I'm sorry. I never steal from humans again. And then Harold says, you don't get it. None of you do. And he punches the guy again. He says, huge trash heaps like you are responsible for the terrors in our race's history. And that's why we can't be trusted. We only desire to peacefully engage with the world now. But they can't trust that. And Harold is pounding on this man. He says, Your Highness, he's already out cold. Harold says, I didn't want to jeopardize Elbath's chance of joining the world government. That was my only reason for not helping him. So he's really beating the hell out this guy because he feels like I let my friend die because I didn't want to mess up Elbath's chance of getting in good with the world government and having a better future for Elbath. For that reason, I let my friend die. For motherfuckers like you to be out here rogue, making everything that I've been working to do, everything that I did, letting my friend die for, go to waste. And he said that was my only reason for not helping him. I forsake my closest friend as he begged me for aid. I left him to die. Yeah, you did, you bitch ass nigga. And he having a flashback of Rocks telling him, but it doesn't feel like luck's on my side anymore, Harold. Lend me a hand. Yeah, you should feel bad about that, Harold. Bro, you let that man die. He came to you in confidence. You the only one who knew his secret, and he asked you for help. So because he let his friend die, he's saying ain't no turning back now. I'll never forgive a giant. I never ever forgive a giant who does evil. So now they're in the newspaper, right in newspaper. Giant King loses it. Oh, he loses it. Not that he saved y'all from a group of giant thugs, huh? So then we cut over to Navy HQ. We see Dragon's in jail, underground detention cell. He's in jail. We see Garp walk up and Dragon says, Dad, I'm gonna quit the Marines. Garp says, okay. And then Dragon says, I despise you, Dragon. And then Garp says, okay. And he drops the key. Such a great interaction we got between the two. Wow. So then we cut back over. We see Harold put him back up to Elbath. Harold said, I made up my mind, Ada, Elder Jarua. I don't care about appearance anymore. Howard and Loki, you are both my precious sons. I want you two to get along when I'm gone. So I guess he's leaving, not pulling up. He says, I want you to get along while I'm gone and do what you can to support Elbath. So he pulls up to the Navy HQ. They see the ship. They says that ship's from Elbath. What? Somebody says, my apologies, King Harold, but my superiors have ordered me to not let you land. Harold then still makes landfall anyways and says, high-ranking Marines and leaders of the world government, I ask you, please hear me out. He grabs his horns, rips them off his head, and says, allow me to atone for the sins of the past 1,000 years. I apologize for everything wrong the giant race has committed. The children of Elbath are being raised to live without harming others, so that one day they may walk hand in hand with humanity. I do all this to prove our unwavering commitment to peace. He says, I'll do whatever it takes to atone for our sins, even if it means becoming a slave. And then we see Emu. We just see Emu eyes just looking. So this one is planned for Harold to really begin. I can tell. Chapter over. Okay, so I was right about St. Figurlin Garden being a slime ball and getting that get back the way he got it, you feel me? Uh there's no like I just want a good interaction between Garp and Dragon and I'm not getting that. I don't think we're gonna see them like that was the last time we're gonna see them even around each other. I don't know what's going on. I think they still communicate some way somehow now. You feel me? Cause Garp did pull up on Luffy one day and was like, "Oh, I heard you met your father," and the third. So only person that could have told him that was Dragon himself, because nobody else knew that Luffy had even met Dragon. But I just want a meaningful interaction between them. Like there's nothing really going on. Like the interaction between them, like bare minimum. Harold, yes, you should feel real bad about what happened to Rocks because you did let that man go out sad. You feel me, on bro? Like you said, he was your closest friend. I forsook my closest friend as he begged me for aid. I left him to die. Yes, you did. I don't think we got a break next week. Let's see if it said break next week. No, no break, but that was the end of the chapter. So can't wait to see what we got going moving forward. You feel me? Like I said, wonderful chapter. I was right about my theories. I have no theories for the next chapter. I just know that we're going to get back into the Herald stuff, and this is where Emu's plans begin for Herald. So we're going to get back into this bitch ass nigga getting himself killed. I can't wait to see it. We seen Rods die, and we seen how you let him die. So I gotta see you get slammed out, or I won't be satisfied. Saint Figure Garland, nigga, you're a fraud. You're a fraud. We don't we're not concerned about you anymore. You got the abyss powers now, so maybe you got you a little devilish transformation, but you're still a fucking fraud. Other than that, this is Who's Who 74. No, we signing out. I'll tune in with you guys next chapter.